trail of destruction. Powerful twisters pummeling Texas.
Go in the tornado!
Damaging homes and businesses, flattening this Home Depot. Chaos on the highways.
It is right in front of us.
Flipping cars, downing power lines, leaving more than 100,000 in the dark. We're tracking the latest where the storms are headed this morning.
About face. President Trump backs down from his plan to host that major international summit at his own resort, as his acting chief of staff tries to take back what he admitted on camera, that there was a quid pro quo with Ukraine.
Royal revelation, the Duke and Duchess exclusive interview, opening up like never before. The pressures Prince Harry feels to protect his family.
That's just me not wanting a repeat of the past. I will not be bullied into playing a game that killed my mum.
His incredibly candid comments about his relationship with his brother William, and Meghan sharing her struggle in the spotlight.
But my British friend said to me, I'm sure he's great, but you shouldn't do it because the British tabloids will destroy your life.
New surveillance video shows the heroic moment a high school football coach disarmed a student with a loaded shotgun. What happened next was remarkable.
And Super Bowl champ Tom Brady, the TV show cameo that now has the superstar quarterback playing defense.
Making a splash, the San Francisco 49ers sliding to victory with a game-winning sack, turning the bad weather into a big win and an epic Sunday fun day.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Thanks for starting a new week with us. I'll just get it out of the way.
Go ahead.
Who dat? Who dat? The Saints win again.
We're having a lot of good Mondays.
A lot of great Mondays.
Great Mondays for all of us, George.
There you have it. But we do have a lot of news.
We do have. We'll take a look at what happened in Dallas overnight. Hit so hard by that tornado touching down.
Homes and businesses demolished. And from Illinois to Texas, they are bracing for another possible tornado threat this morning. Marcus Moore is in Texas for us this morning. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, Robin, good morning. It was a rough one here. You can see what this powerful storm did to this van. Several thousand pounds left tossed around. There are trees that have been snapped here, and the roof of that home just behind us, the roof torn away. And this morning, more than 160,000 customers are without power. Overnight, tornadoes striking North Texas.
Oh my God. This is a tornado touching down right now.
I see upward motion, strong upward motion.
Lots of debris flying.
The twisters destroying homes and businesses, tearing apart everything in their path.
I mean, it's just really, it's a war zone. I don't know a better way to call it.
I went and got my bathtub and put pillows and a mattress over me and just held on.
Down power lines and massive trees now uprooted. Multiple reports of people hurt in their homes from broken glass.
They got trapped people inside. I think they've got multiple victims here.
A possible tornado flattening this Home Depot. Residents forced into the streets, checking on their neighbors and calling loved ones.
We've had tornado warnings all around us. This is the first one that I've ever seen hit in Dallas.
The cars in this shopping center wrecked and tossed around. This video showing the aftermath of one of the twisters on a popular highway in Dallas. Debris in this jackknife truck blocking lanes. The owner of this video telling us about what it was like to witness that terrifying twister.
I tweeted and it was like, I think I just almost drove into a tornado. I froze because there was nowhere I could go.
Several schools have canceled classes today because of the damage and also the power outages. And they have been able to clear some of the roadways, Robin, but the cleanup really hasn't even begun yet.
Yeah, we're thinking of everybody down that way. Thank you so much, Marcus. Let's bring in Ginger, who is tracking where that storm is headed next. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Robin. The threat is now for a few states. You can see the long line of storms from Illinois right through Memphis down into Louisiana. So it's this morning. Often we talk about severe storms in the afternoon. This is kind of the second severe storm season that kind of happens and moves into Dixie Alley in the fall, early winter. And it's happening this morning. Tornado warnings have been popping even north of Memphis. But I want to go ahead and focus on the state of Mississippi because you're going to see late morning that line of severe storms come through and some specific things happening even into the western panhandle of Florida. But again, Mississippi, the whole state in the severe risk today. So we thought we would focus on it, bring it out. The whole state turns yellow because you're in that convection, right? What does that mean to you? Well, in the next couple of hours, you're going to end up seeing the potential for the not only damaging winds that you've seen in that line, but the isolated tornadoes. So know this, late morning into the early afternoon, the state of Mississippi, including Greenwood, which is in a severe thunderstorm watch right now, has the possibility of seeing these severe storms. I don't know if I made that clear, but I want to make sure everybody knows, George, right now.
Crystal clear. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to go to Washington now, where the White House is in cleanup mode as President Trump reverses his decision to award the G7 summit to his own hotel. And Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney tries to take back his admission that military aid to Ukraine was tied to political investigations sought by President Trump. Our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega has all the latest. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, George, good morning to you. A lot of damage control happening here at the White House this morning on the G7. I can't remember the last time we saw a backtrack from President Trump like we've seen on this one. This was his idea from the start, and now he is backing down in the face of bipartisan backlash. Overnight, President Trump fuming about the fallout over his plan to hold the G7 summit at his Florida resort. The president saying on Twitter he was forced to rescind the idea because of do-nothing Democrat fake news anger. An almost unheard of reversal, the president blaming it on, quote, irrational hostility. Leaders from around the world, their staff and security, thousands of guests paying to stay at the Trump family's 800-acre property, which has struggled financially. It sparked immediate backlash, not just from ethics watchdogs and Democrats who signaled they would investigate, but even the White House counsel's office privately expressed reservations, as did some Republicans.
It shouldn't have been done in the first place. I know he loves his properties, and he loves having people to his properties, and he loves showing off those properties. I understand all that, but this just was an unforced error.
Aides insisted the president would not profit, saying he was simply being a showman.
At the end of the day, you know, he still considers himself to be in the hospitality business. He wanted to put on a show.
The president already facing multiple lawsuits accusing him of using his office for personal gain by taking payments from foreign officials and the U.S. government at properties like the Trump International Hotel just blocks from the White House. The president's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, also backpedaling on his admission last week that there was indeed a quid pro quo in the president's phone call with Ukraine, now at the center of Democrats' impeachment inquiry.
And I have news for everybody. Get over it. There's going to be political influence in foreign policy.
In a head-spinning explanation on Fox, Mulvaney denied ever saying there was a quid pro quo, even though he acknowledged exactly that in that White House press conference last week.
So I recognize that folks, that I didn't speak clearly. Maybe on Thursday folks misinterpreted what I said, but I never said there was a quid pro quo, because there isn't.
So back to the G7, the White House is now searching for a new location. President Trump suggested that Camp David might be an option. But just a few days ago, right here in that press conference here at the White House, Mick Mulvaney blasted Camp David as a disaster when past summits were held there. So, George, we're back to mixed messaging this morning.
That's for sure. And Cecilia, as you pointed out, the president blamed Democrats and the media for his reversal, but it was really pressure from Republicans that forced this decision.
Yeah, exactly. And we've just learned that over the weekend, Mulvaney held a meeting at Camp David with some Republicans where reportedly he was blasted on this one. Surely the president saw the headlines from this weekend that were basically saying the Republicans are tired of having to defend him over this G7 decision. George, of course, all of this coming at a time when he needs his team in his corner as he faces this impeachment inquiry.
He sure does, Cecilia. Thanks very much. And it will be another busy week for the impeachment investigation. Officials across the administration scheduled to testify starting Tuesday with Ambassador William Taylor. He's the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine who texted it would be, quote, crazy to tie military aid to Trump's political investigation. Wednesday, a top State Department official who also deals with Ukraine, Philip Rieker. And on Friday, Laura Cooper, who heads up Ukraine policy at the Pentagon. Robin?
And George, now to the latest on the crisis in Syria and that ceasefire. The clock is running out with both sides, the Turks and the Kurds, accusing each other of violating the deal. I want to show you images that are just coming in this morning. The Kurds seen here in the streets throwing objects at U.S. troops as they withdraw. Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz has more. She's there in Washington for us. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. The Pentagon now preparing options for President Trump on whether to leave several hundred American troops in Syria as the bulk of those U.S. forces are being redeployed to Iraq, and the criticism of the president's actions intensifies. Overnight, reports of clashes between Kurdish and Turkish troops in northern Syria as just hours remain in what U.S. officials hailed as a brokered ceasefire. But just moments ago, the Secretary of Defense confirming they are considering leaving more U.S. troops in country.
We have troops in towns in northeast Syria that are located next to the oil fields. The purpose is to deny access, specifically revenue, to ISIS and any other groups that may want to seek that revenue to enable their own malign activities. There has been a discussion about possibly doing it. There's been no decision with regard to numbers or anything like that. My job, the military's job, is to prepare options and then present them to the president and let him decide.
But over the weekend, Kurdish military leaders said its troops were in a defensive position, calling into question the effectiveness of the ceasefire. But Secretary of State Mike Pompeo defending the deal.
The Turks said they got everything they wanted.
Yeah, I was there. It sure didn't feel that way when we were negotiating. It was a hard-fought negotiation.
But with more than 200 killed, the Kurds now fearful of ethnic cleansing as Turkish forces move in. Secretary Pompeo saying these concerns have been addressed with Turkey.
We were very clear, and the vice president could not have been more clear when we were speaking with President Erdogan in that Turkish-controlled space, that there wouldn't be attacks on minorities, that this was about getting a ceasefire, a secure area, and that this, in fact, will save lives.
A senior U.S. official tells ABC that from the moment President Trump insisted on pulling out Americans from Syria, some military leaders have tried to convince the White House that some U.S. forces should remain, or the likelihood that ISIS returns is even greater. TJ?
All right, Martha, thank you so much this morning. We do want to turn now to an accident that has left 3 soldiers dead and 3 more injured. This happened in Georgia during a training exercise. They were in a Bradley fighting vehicle, an armored transport vehicle that rolled over into the water. Stephanie Ramos is at Fort Stewart, Georgia with the latest for us. Good morning to you, Stephanie.
TJ, good morning. Officials say those 3 soldiers died and 3 others were injured, as you said, when they were riding in that Bradley fighting vehicle and it rolled over into water early Sunday morning here at Fort Stewart in Georgia. Officials say no other vehicles were involved, and it's still unclear if the vehicle was going over a bridge at the time of the accident. The commanding general of the 3rd Infantry Division says this is a heartbreaking day. We are extremely saddened by the loss of 3 dog-faced soldiers and injuries to 3 more. Our hearts and prayers go out to all the families affected by this tragedy. Now, all 6 soldiers are part of the 1st Armored Brigade combat team, and investigators will likely be looking at fatigue, the terrain, and the vehicle itself as possible factors into this deadly accident. TJ?
And Stephanie, 3 injured. What do we know about the severity of their injuries?
Well, right now we know that 2 out of the 3 soldiers who were injured have been released from the Army hospital here. The 3rd soldier was transferred to a hospital off post and is expected to be okay. Now, officials say they will release the names of those who were killed once their families have been notified. TJ. All
right, Stephanie Ramos for us this morning. Thank you so much, George.
Okay, TJ, now to a new lead in the search for that missing 3-year-old girl in Alabama. Police are sharing surveillance footage of a suspect in the disappearance of Camille Cupcake McKinney. Steve Osunsami has the story. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, George. One of the men seen on that security camera video that police are sharing this morning is a suspect, someone police know, have questioned, and are still talking to. The person they're looking for, however, seen on camera, is a witness. The search continues this morning across Alabama and its neighboring states for 3-year-old Camille McKinney. The child, seen here in pigtails, went missing from outside a birthday party in Birmingham more than a week ago. Police are asking for as many eyes as possible on this surveillance video. Police say it shows a kidnapping suspect walking away with the missing 3-year-old and another child. But the person police are hoping to speak with is this man, seen walking past the children moments before the suspect walks off with the kids. They're hoping that this person, who is not a person of interest in the investigation, saw or remembers anything that might be helpful to police.
We want to talk to him. We want to see if he has additional information, if he has something more for us, or if he saw something that night that may be critical to this investigation.
FBI agents are helping, and over the weekend, authorities called on volunteers who searched on foot, hoping to find the girl.
Let's come together
Birmingham, let's come together. Alabama, let's come together. United States, and pray and trust and believe for the best.
2 people have been arrested on unrelated charges, one of them child pornography. Robin.
Oh my, okay, Steve, thank you. Now to those new images of Felicity Huffman behind bars, the first glimpse of the actress since she began her 14-day prison sentence in that college admissions scandal. Eva Pilgrim is here with that. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Robin. We've never seen Felicity Huffman like this before as a federal inmate in a prison jumpsuit.
This morning, a first look at actress Felicity Huffman as she enters her final week behind bars. In this video, you see the Desperate Housewives star in a green jumpsuit and white hat, sporting her glasses. Huffman's husband, William H. Macy, and her daughter arriving to visit her for Family Day. Huffman walking in a parking lot outside, passing security guards on her way to meet them.
Dublin is almost a camp. It is a place where minimum security prisoners enjoy the luxury of being minimum security prisoners.
Huffman reported to the federal prison in Dublin, California last Tuesday, starting a 14-day sentence for her role in the Varsity Blues college admissions scandal. What is she doing to pass her time? She's allowed to work on pre-approved hobby crafts such as crochet, origami, or scrapbooking. On the prison menu, bran flakes for breakfast, breaded fish sandwiches for lunch, and Salisbury steak for dinner.
I said a lot of things I shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
In May, the Desperate Housewives star pled guilty to paying $15,000 to have a proctor correct her daughter's SAT answers. The star also now working on repairing the relationship with that daughter, the same one who came to visit her Saturday. Huffman has said her daughter knew absolutely nothing about her mother's actions.
And 3 more parents involved in the scandal are expected to take plea deals. This is federal prosecutors have said additional charges are possible against defendants who have opted against a plea bargain. So we're waiting to see what happens there.
We'll see.
Okay.
Thank you, Eva.
Thank you so much. And folks, did you know there was actually another team that played yesterday besides the Saints?
Really?
There were other teams that played, Robin.
All right.
Including the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers had himself a day.
Oh, he did.
Record day. Green Bay Packers star. He made his 350th career passing touchdown. He becomes now the 9th player in NFL history to reach that milestone, but he has done it in only 172 career games, so he is the fastest to ever to get to 350 touchdown passes.
Respect.
Very much so. And look at this. What a day. The weather was a mess. Look at Nick Bosa from the 49ers. This is how they decide to celebrate their win, a shutout win, actually, on a messy day. Had a little slip and slide. Right? It's football. At the end of the day, it is just a game, and let's have a little fun. But that's how they celebrated a shutout win. That defense is playing really well, and the weather did not cooperate too well in some games yesterday.
Defense, Saints defense is really good, too.
Everything gets back to the Saints.
Hey, give us our time. Give us our moment.
We have a lot more coming up this morning, including an exclusive interview with Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan from a new documentary. Harry opens up about his relationship with his brother, Prince William, and takes us behind the scenes of Archie's first big trip.
Also, that new surveillance footage showing a high school coach disarming a student at school and the truly remarkable moment that happened after. But first, let's go back to Ginger. Ginger?
And I've got those images from this one from Wyoming. This is Interstate 25. Multiple accidents reported. You can see the slide-offs, the semis on the side there. It was closed down for a time on the northbound lanes. This is Interstate 80, very slippery in Park City, Utah. So yes, the cold is there, and that usually means some hefty winds and fire danger today in California. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, the Select City, sponsored by Subaru.
The big dogs, the old dogs, the deaf, blind, the different. Subaru presents the underdogs. These shelter dogs still love unconditionally. They're just hoping to find their human who does too. To help, Subaru is establishing National Naked Dogs Day to ask you to please consider adopting an underdog or do something extra special for your dog.
Well, Stormwatch 7 tracking a pretty nice start to the work week. Morning clouds giving way to sun and temperatures seasonably warm in the upper 60s. So a little jacket out the door and then short sleeves this afternoon. Tonight, cloudy ahead of our next weather maker. We're in the 50s. And tomorrow, your Tuesday, 66. And we are tracking rain. I think just clouds in the morning, but steadier rain through the afternoon. We could see about a quarter to a half inch of rain on Tuesday. Sunny skies on Wednesday, Thursday, and looking dry heading into your Friday, Saturday for the World Series.
A busy Monday. We'll be right back.
You don't have to go to another planet to be an explorer. You can be an explorer right here on Earth with the completely redesigned Ford Explorer.